Hi, welcome to episode 19 of Johanna Banana. Aiden, please throw me the recap cap. Alrighty. This is how much my stuffed animal hoarding has gotten so bad. It's gotten so out of hand that my tigers, Mama Tiger, Baby Tiger.
I like to call them the traumatized tigers because they look traumatized.
Aiden calls them the traumatized. They're not traumatized, Aiden. They just drank too much coffee.
It looks like
this guy has so badly that we put the hat on. It's a little better. Anyways, those are my white tigers. Okay, so let's recap from our last episode. So we had the pet episode with Great LB. Still cracks me up. I can still hear her in my head. Such torture, such torture. I love that. That just cracked me up every time. And also, we also learned from our last pet episode what terrible camera people we are without Aiden. Yeah. I was terrible. Yeah, that's why those clips were really short because we're not good at the camera. I'm not good at the camera. LB wasn't good at the camera. We had to cut out a lot where LB's like, is this working? Yeah, we had to cut all that out.
I had to constantly switch because she kept flipping it from
LB is not technically, we love her, but she's not technically savvy, so the cameras were kind of, when I was doing the interview to Chevy to the Levy and Lucy Lou, it was kind of like the camera was turning and stuff, so Aiden had to readjust, so that's why the videos are short. But what LB does is, she's hilarious, and I still have it in her head, with her baby boaters. Wasn't that hilarious? I just loved our voices. It was so funny. It cracked me up every time. And it was just such a nice break from my guy drama. And we are actually coming to the end. We only have 3 more guys left. And this one's going to be a 2-parter because this guy, I really thought, just like probably every one of the guys, that this guy was really going to be the one because it started out so nice, like so many do, and then it just kind of it just fell apart. Now, I also want to talk about my great consultant Elle. Okay, I probably mentioned her in the show. D&L, they are family members of ours, and our opening quote she sent me this week, and she said, "This is my hope for you." And isn't that the sweetest quote ever? My favorite part is effortlessly. Yes, if I can find a guy that can handle me, Aiden, and doesn't think that being in a relationship with me is a chore, or doesn't mooch after us, I mean, that's what I want, I really do. Now, my consultant Elle is amazing. I have, as you all know, my dad was my security blanket. I talk to him every day, if not a couple times a day. He stopped me from doing a lot of stupid things. When I have knee-jerk reactions or I would get really upset, he would talk to me. So it's been really hard for me to not have my confidant, my security blanket, because I am a drama queen and I am needy. So I disperse my neediness. I don't want to overwhelm one family member with my neediness. So I go to my consultant Elle, I go to my aunt, I go to my other cousin, and I kind of like disperse my neediness. Because like I tell people, I'm a rich piece of cake, and you need milk sometimes, so I give them breaks. So, but anyways, I just want to share some things that I have learned a lot from my consultant, Elle. She texts me all the time after we watch episodes, and I love her for that. She gives me the best feedback. Talking to her is like talking to my dad because I need a regulator. I love when I listen to these shows, watching crime shows, and like, this person hasn't learned how to regulate their emotions. I get that, I really do. So she helps me navigate life, because sometimes I don't know what to do, and I just sit there and have turmoils on things and stuff. Now, some of the suggestions that she has done, and I'm finally ready to do this, because when she first suggested, she said, sit down and write down what you want in a relationship, and what you don't want in a relationship. I kind of felt like I really wasn't ready to do that, but now I'm feeling like I'm in that place. And so here's some of the advice that my consultant Elle has given me, and I'm going to start doing this because I do feel like I'm at a better place. She says that I need to date guys that are in their 50s, which makes sense. Only children spend time with adults, okay? So they kind of mature as far as, I don't know how you would say it. Since they're used to being with adults, they feel more comfortable with adults, so they're used to talking and having discussions. At least that's the household I grew up with. And so I think maybe somebody that's older, in their 50s, where I can like share stories with and discuss things with, because that's what I love, is really important to me. And my consultant Elle said that I need somebody, I need a partner, equal partner. I'm not looking to be taken care of, and I have yet to ever be taken care of, so let's just throw that out the window. So I'm looking for an equal partner, and so that's what I'm going to start looking for in the future. I'm not going to date this year. I still have not given up hope. I want my Prince Charming, okay? I really do, Aiden. I want him to come up with a white horse. I don't know. I want somebody that is one of my viewers. I want somebody that, you know, I can be best friends with, and that's the thing. So that's what I want. My consultant Elle has kind of helped me see, narrow down through all this BS, kind of what I want. And I want a friendship, and I want equal partnership. That's so far, that's what I know what I want. So I just want to give a shout out to my consultant Elle. Thank you so much. She was the one that sent me that opening quote that we started our show with. And I love that. One day, I keep telling myself, when I get depressed and I'm like, why can't I have a boyfriend? Or, you know, you see couples and you're like, I want that. I do. I keep telling myself, it's okay. One day, I'm going to find the person that's going to fit me. And Ruby, of course, where did Ruby go? To a stuffed animal to go to sleep. Okay, so let's start with our next guy. We're going to get to the next guy. Okay, so let's get to, I know in my last episode of the Pet Episode, I'm like 8, 9, number 10, I totally miscounted. Okay, so we are on 10, okay? 10, yes, 10. But we're coming to an end. So we only have 2 more after that. We will throw in some pet episodes and things like that. But we are coming to an end. This will be a 2-parter because I kind of like to talk about the happy part first. I love the happy part. I love the happy part. And I was happy in the beginning. It was a little bit of a bumpy road, and then I got happy again. So we're going to talk about that right now. Okay. So I met... I used to call him A-Team as his actual name. So I met A-Teamer, that's what we're going to say, trying to think because I've been on every online dating website known to man. Yeah, I know.
I think this one was Plenty of Fish. Actually.
No. He wasn't Plenty of Fish, Aiden. No. He was Match. I think it was Match.
Yeah, Match.
Yeah, he was a paid site. I think at that time I was doing the paid site.
Yeah.
And here's what really attracted me to him. He had a pit bull. He had a pitty. I love pitties. I either want a pitty or a boxer. Okay, and I think I had gone on a couple dates with somebody that wasn't an animal lover, and so I'm just like, ugh, screw you. Yeah, we'll talk about that. The one person that I dated that wasn't an animal lover. So obviously that didn't last very long, but so it was really nice when I saw him with this. I remember I think they were on the bed together and he was cuddling with them, and it was just so cute. I was like, he just really looked like a nice guy. You know, you see a picture and you're like, oh, hello there. Yes, I think I could talk to you. I could tell you my silly stories. Yes, okay. So it was pretty cool. I sent him the message that night, and then he sent me his phone number right away, and I was like, wow, okay, this isn't the, because you have the people that like to dance around. Hi, how was your day? Good. how was your day? And seriously, and you will go back and forth with people like that for months at a time. Which,
oh my God.
Yes, because it's just entertainment. Whenever they have time, they're like, hey, how you been? You know, they have you on standby, that kind of thing. But this guy was serious, and he sent me a nice message, and it's something about like, I don't want to be too forward, but I'm looking for a serious relationship, and I don't want. It was a great message. It was so nice, and I texted him back that night, and I said, I know it's late, but I will definitely reach out to you tomorrow. And he texted right back, and he was like, thank you so much for getting back to me right away. And it was just awesome. And then the next day, he says, hey, would you like to go on a date? And he did the awesome date, dinner and a movie. That's my favorite. And I know, it's my favorite date, Aiden, is when everybody's like, just don't put dinner in a movie. I'm sorry. I freaking love dinner in a movie, okay? Because you want to do the dinner. That way you can talk. At the movie, you can take a break and you don't have to talk in case, you know, the conversation wasn't good, and you can enjoy a movie, right? I'm not knocking dinner in the movie. That's a great first date. Anyway, so that was, and he likes scary movies. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love scary movies, but, as we all know, I'm a little girl, and, I can't watch them by myself. Yeah. Anyhow, so it was pretty cool. He picked a scary movie, okay? It was The Conjuring, okay? How bad is that? That was just creepy. And, yeah, it was The Conjuring.
Oh, what?
The Conjuring, Aiden. Anyways,
The Conjuring.
it's all about, it was demonic possession. Those are my scary favorite movies, yeah. I know, typical PK, right? I'll tell you a funny thing. Every Easter, or the night before Easter, they're called the Easter Vigil. That's the great service that my dad would do. You know what I did when I stopped going to church every Easter, as my dad was performing the Easter Vigil service?
Oh, no.
Just as a bratty, snotty teenager, I would watch The Exorcist. Yeah, I'd have my girlfriends over, my high school girlfriends over, and we would watch The Exorcist while my dad was doing the Easter Vigil service. Yeah. Anyways, I love scary movies, but it wasn't until I was all by myself one time watching a scary movie that I realized I couldn't watch scary movies by myself, because of course it was easy to watch scary movies with my girlfriends and then go to bed and your parents are sleeping in the next room. It's easy to watch scary movies with your boyfriend, significant other, first husband, whoever, and then they go right to sleep next to you. But it's totally different when you're by yourself, and I didn't really learn that until later on. So when I go on a date with a guy and he's like, do you like scary movies? I'm like, thank you. So I was so excited. And the great thing that I really liked about this guy was the conversation went really well. We were both very extroverted. So our conversation, it just flowed. We just clicked. It was just amazing. Like, seriously, Aiden, like,
so weird.
I know.
That was.
I know. It started out really good because, you know, we were talkers, and we talked about what we wanted in a relationship, and but here was the red flag, okay, that I should have seen, Aiden.
Oh, no.
And I didn't see this because I thought, this guy picked a scary movie. He's taking me to dinner. I didn't have to pay. That was a good thing about him. I never had to pay. He was not a mooch. He would take me out all the time. Well, no, not all the time. That's how we started going downhill. In the beginning, he would take me out, and I would never have to pay. Amazing! Even though I'd offer to pay sometimes, you know, because I'm not one of these girls like that wants the guy to pay every time. But I'm sorry, in the beginning, pay. I don't care. I'm old-fashioned. A guy should pay, okay? And so the fact that I liked that he paid was amazing to me. And then we had really good conversation. We went to like this outdoor shopping plaza for people that live in my area. It's called Westgate, but it's really nice. And we went to the movies, and then we went to my favorite place, Johnny Rockets. Everybody knows I love their chocolate Cokes. And so I had chocolate Coke at Johnny Rockets. And it was just, we shared dating horror stories, Aiden. Oh my God, we shared dating horror stories. He has some crazy ones. Crazy ones. Like, yeah, because you know what guys have to deal with, girls have to worry about, you know,
other things like having to pay the roofies, drugs, but guys have to worry about ex-boyfriends. He was on a date and an ex-boyfriend came over. And anyways,
Oh.
we shared a lot of dating stories, and and he liked dogs. The thing was about his pity, though, the sad thing was, the dog had passed away a year ago. The first thing because he had that profile. He had been single for a long time. So let's get to the red flags, which is being single for a long time. Okay, it's a red flag when someone hasn't been single for very long and they're going from one relationship to the next. But I also think that it's a red flag when somebody hasn't had a relationship for a long time. Okay,
How long?
I think it had been over a decade.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So he had another thing that we bonded on is the fact that he was an only child. Now, he was very close to his mom, whom had passed away, and he had pictures of her all over the place. And at the time, I thought it was kind of weird, but now I get it because here I am, an orphan, so I love looking at pictures of my dad, so I get it. And he was an orphan too. He never knew his father. He was very close to his mother. Now, Aiden, you think that you have to take care of me all the time. His mother was so overbearing that she did not allow him to move out after high school. She wanted to keep him close, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, when you move, I'll let you move out, Aiden. I'll probably cry, but I'll let you move out because, you gotta let your kids. But when I told him about my horror stories and how I got married at such an early age after knowing the guy for the week, he's like, and your dad let you get married? My mom didn't even let me go away to college. I thought, oh, okay. Another red flag that he had was the fact he didn't want to meet Aiden right away. He didn't want to meet Aiden.
Huh.
He had one really long relationship. He had lived with this woman. That's as close. He had never been married, no kids. Okay.
Wow.
So the life experience wasn't on the same level as me. And like I'd said before, I want to find, as I'm deciding what I want, I kind of want somebody that has some more life experience, because they do shape you. Children, divorce, marriage, it does shape you. And he had never been married, never had children. He had been in one relationship that he had lived with her. I think the relationship was 5 years, but he had been burned. He was one of those that he had kind of gotten really close to a little girl. Yeah. Some people get so burned, Aiden, that they never get past it. And that was his issue, I think, is he was just so scared to get too close. Another red flag is he didn't want any labels. Let's not label our relationship. He said he wanted a relationship, but he was very much like, let's just see where we're going. I don't want to label. I'm sorry, I like labels. I'm not a go with the flow person. Labels are awesome. I like them. I know some people don't. They like to be like, let's just see what happened, blah, blah. But the label thing, that bugged me. And now, Aiden, I'm listening to this radio show in the morning. I tell Aiden about this, about the first dates and stuff like that. One of the red flags is if somebody says, if you want a boyfriend, if you want a relationship, a serious relationship, and this person's like, I don't know what I want and I don't want to label it, run. Okay, because they do know what they want. Fun. Nothing serious, nothing committing. Fun. That's what they want. But it sounds bad. Especially for guys to say, I just want to have fun with you, right? Guys aren't going to say that. I've had some guys say that. But it just sounds better to say, let's just see what happens. And that's how he was. So, now, we had gone on several dates, great dates. Our first date, like I said, was dinner and a movie. But he had taken me to a lot of his favorite restaurants. He had taken me, here was another awesome another one of like beginning early dates that I thought was incredibly amazing. He took me, because he was a native, okay? And it's so rare to find a native, someone who actually has lived in this state their whole life. It's just incredible to me. So he had grown up in this state, and so one of our dates was, after he took me to his favorite barbecue restaurant, and then afterwards he drove me around to like the place he went to high school, places that he lived with his mom. He shared stories about when he was on the football team, and those are the things, Aiden, that make me fall in love is just when I get to know the guy and they tell me these great stories about their life, and it was amazing. Okay, now here's the thing. I don't always like to give it up, okay, unless I'm in a committed relationship, okay? You gotta be my boyfriend before I go to bed with you, okay? Not always. I'm not gonna say that I am a saint, okay? Because, you know, there's been some times with some, anyways, when we get to the hat, we know sometimes there's been some incidences, but I'm just saying for the most part, when I'm trying to make a relationship work, I try, and you know, I was trying not to give it up unless I was in a committed relationship. But remember, he didn't want to do labels, okay? He didn't want to do labels, he wanted to see where it goes. Well, yes, we can see where it goes. We can go out, we can go do these things, we can go to movies, we can go driving scenic drives, you can take me to your favorite BBQ place.
And we can watch it go down.
But I'm not getting into bed with you, honey. And he got frustrated with that. Yes, he did. So, what did he do? He said he would be my boyfriend.
Oh my God.
What did your naive, innocent mother do? Thought she won the lottery. Yes, I got the guy. Okay, perfect, right? So I was so happy. I was just like, this is awesome. Because another great thing that we would do, and this is what I really loved, and I don't know why we stopped doing this, but every time I would come over, he traveled a lot for work, which was fine. You know, he traveled during the week, and so we would only see each other on the weekends. And I always have to go to his place. It was very much on his terms because he was definitely afraid to meet you, Aiden. You know, so, and definitely afraid to meet any of my friends, you know, to get involved in my life, you know, and that was a red flag. He was very jealous of all my girlfriends. That was a red flag. He didn't have any friends. That was a red flag. But I didn't know that at the time because I was thinking that this guy took me to dinner and a movie. We can talk things out. Every time I would go to his place, this is the thing that I like, we would sit down and talk and make sure we're on the same page relationship-wise. And so we had to talk and make sure we're committed and everything before I did the deed. So I was so happy, right? I did the deed. I was happy. He said he was going to be my boyfriend. Everything was great. I was finally thinking that this is it. Okay. Great. Okay. So I came over one day. It's another weekend, right? And this is where I kind of feel like sometimes I feel like guys are really good at the chase, but then when they catch you, they're like, I don't know what to do. And that's kind of how I felt like what happened. So this was our first little issue that we had. So we were progressing really well. Been dating him for a couple months now. So I went over there. I think I'd only given up once. And I went over there and he's watching this god-awful movie. What was this movie? God-awful movie. And I hate to knock it. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, I'm sorry. But let me tell you something about these Star Wars movies, these Marvel movies. I know people are really big fans, Spider-Man, whatever, Aquaman, whatever. He was really big into the whole comic book thing. I tend to date guys that are like that. I don't know why, because I don't know anything about these movies. But he was really into this one Star Wars thing. And so for somebody that is not into these movies, these Marvel, DC, Star Wars, these movies that just keep going on and on and on, you don't know what's going on. If you've never seen these movies, they are very complex. They are very confusing. So this was a Star Wars movie in which everybody dies at the end. I don't know which movie this is. I think it was called, God, what was it called? Renegade or something. Everybody dies, and this poor girl is looking for her dad. Anyways, I get over there. He says 2 words for me. 2 words to me. and then sits his ass on the couch and proceeds to watch this movie. And he's in the middle of this movie. And he's engrossed in this movie. And I remember telling Sydney, my good friend, love Sydney. I was telling Sydney at the time, because I was devastated after this. I was devastated. I was telling Sydney, I'm the shiny new toy, Sydney, and he didn't want to play with me. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. I mean, how freaking rude is that? You don't see somebody for a week, and then they come over and you're watching a movie, and you're not going to just stop the movie and spend time with them. And we didn't have the discussion if we were on the same page or anything. I was so hurt and disgusted about this because the problem with me, and this is an issue that my dad said I really need to work on, is when I'm in a relationship and we have that first fight, it's so upsetting, and it like opens, like I told my dad, because I did tell my dad after this incident, I mean, I thought he wasn't into me anymore. I mean, it was just so rude, you know? And so I stayed, I think the movie ended, and then I just wanted to leave. I was just so disgusted about the whole thing, and I wasn't even capable to even tell him how I was feeling because I was just so hurt that I just got in the car and I just started crying, because I thought, what the fuck, you know, like, and it's part of my problem because I do have high expectations for people, and I do get disappointed. But here's the thing that my dad said, and this is something that I have to work on in my next relationships, and this is a running theme in my relationships, is the fact that when we have this first fight and I get hurt initially, it opens the floodgates. Like I told my dad, I said, Dad, when he wasn't talking to me and he's so into this movie and all I wanted to do was make out with him and cuddle with him and have fun with him, the floodgates just open from all the guys that hurt me, and I just cry. And my dad's like, Johanna, he's treading water that's not his own. And it's true. I have made guys tread water that is not their own. It's inevitable. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. That's why they say pushing buttons, the buttons just don't appear. There's other people behind those buttons, okay? So when people say, you're pushing my buttons, there's a reason those buttons formed. It's because people have formed them. So it's inevitable that happens, and it's something that I'm going to try to work on. But I was really devastated. But after I talked to my dad, like I said, my dad was my regulator, okay? Because I kept my cool there. I didn't have a big meltdown again. I don't throw that whole emotional Johanna banana on somebody right away, usually, because it's intense, Ada knows. So I kind of kept it together, and I was just like, I have a bad headache, I want to go, sorry, bye. After I called my dad, I was crying, and the floodgates are open, I call it emotionally throwing up. I calmed myself down, and he said, you need to talk to him. So we did. I talked to him. He said he was tired. He didn't know he was being rude. And we got past that, Aiden. We got past it. We did. Really? Yes. And I really, really, really thought that was huge. And I really, really thought that I would never, ever experience that ever again. Yes, I really did. I thought that was amazing, and I thought that was over, and I would never have to watch a stupid movie again. But it didn't. Yeah, we did have a honeymoon period for about, I think, I don't know, 5-6 months. I think we did, maybe about 5 months. Yeah, you never met him. I would just go over there on the weekends.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, I know, because
I thought it was just like a month.
Yeah, no, because you were not really a part of it, because he didn't want to meet you. He didn't want to meet you. He didn't want to meet any of my friends. And those were all red flags. And the reason he's called A-Team with his actual name that I can't say is because the last straw, and we'll get into the issues that we had in our relationship, because now we're at the beginning of the end. After we kind of got past that, yeah, that pattern, of ignoring me and just watching movies that he had seen 50 million times kind of stayed. It went away for a little while, you know, because he thought he was going to lose me, but it kind of kept. And that's the thing. I'm sorry, but what guy, this is what I never understood about their relationship. What guy would say, oh, I just totally love this girl. We go over to her house. I go to her house every weekend and we watch chick flicks that she's seen 50 million times already. We all watch them together over and over again. Could you imagine telling a guy, come on over, let's watch Dirty Dancing. Come on over, let's watch the Twilight Saga. But we're not going to watch the Twilight Saga from the beginning. No, we're going to watch it in the middle, and then you have to figure out what's going on. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the hat now. We're going to finish A-Teamer in our next episode because I think this is probably going to be an hour-long episode. I don't know. I can't seem to shut up. So let's go to the next.
Boy.
Oh, gosh, Aiden, stop. Let's go to the hat now.
Well, you just do the fun parts.
Okay, we're going to do the hat. Okay, so it is hat time. Margaret, you shake up the bag, Aiden. Shake it up.
How? Like what? Like
that. Come on, we want a good story, Aiden.
I'm like what?
Okay, I'm going to pick this time. Oh, okay. I don't want to pick the first one. I'm going to pick. Okay, you read it, Aiden. Tell me.
Okay.
What is it?
Ugh.
What is it?
It's the hot tub guy.
Oh, hot tub. Yes. Okay. Well, the good thing about this one is I met this guy not online. Okay. And I thought that maybe this would be good.
Haven't we already said this one?
No, we did do the hot tub guy, but it was an outtake. Yes, we didn't use it. Anyways, okay. It was an outtake. We messed up. I don't know what happened.
No.
So then we said, screw it. We went to another one. Okay, hot tub guy. All right. So, yeah, this was around this time. So, Aiden and I used to. Aiden's birthday is May 15th. My birthday is May 23rd. We're a week apart. Aiden gave me the best birthday gift ever. I wasn't pregnant with you anymore. Yay. Anyways, so we would spend our birthdays, we'd celebrate our birthdays together, and my dad and my aunt would come up and stay with us. They would stay with us at the La Quinta. And Aiden, I'm trying to think how old you were at the time. How many years ago this was? So before COVID, so I don't know what birthday this was. I think I was, probably the beginning of the grooming industry. This is when I used to work in Sun City. Okay, so maybe you were turning 10 or 11. Okay. Anyhow, so they would come up, and we were at the La Quinta Hotel, and we were at the hot tub, and this guy started talking to me. And we were just sharing, and he's like, what are you up here for? He was up here because he does like auctioning for cars. He lived in another state. I can't remember what state he lived in now. But he was telling me about the other state he lived in, and he was telling me about his goats. And of course, oh my gosh, that got me so excited because I want goats one day. And he was telling me about the other animals. He lives on a ranch, and he was this auctioner. And we were just talking, and then I said, it's my birthday, and he's like, oh my gosh, I need to take you out for your birthday. And here I am, you never met, you just met me, and you want to take me out on your birthday? I thought that was so nice. He was going to take me to like a baseball game, and I don't know, like baseball games, I'm like, down with the nachos, whatever. I was so excited, and it just, anyway, so we exchanged numbers, and then my dad and my aunt were like, come on, we gotta go. And we were just playing around as a kid. I was just so excited that, oh my God, look at me beating somebody organically, not online at a hotel hot tub. And I remember I was so excited that after we talked, that I went back up to the room and I looked, because I couldn't believe this. The guy just asked me out on a date, asked me for my number. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And I'm such a little girl. And I go up to my aunt's room, and I look down, and there he is. Look at the hot tub, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's really still down there. Like, I'm so excited. I've never lost my little teenage girlness. Anyways, I was so excited. And he texted me when we were at dinner, and he's like, call me tonight. I'm like, okay. Of course I didn't want to text, because I'm glued to my phone. My aunt gets kind of upset that I'm on my phone so much, but whatever. So, anyways, I get home and I'm ready to call him. I'm ready, Aiden. I'm ready for a good conversation and all of this. Okay, let's get to know him. Let's talk about the date. Yeah. Then he says what I really hate.
Uh-oh.
Let's have fun.
No.
I'm looking for someone to have fun with. We're not talking board games, okay? We're not talking a jigsaw puzzle. We're not talking a nice baseball game. We're not, yeah. He wanted me to go to that hotel room that night. Yeah. So, there was my birthday date. So there's Hot Tub Guy. That was it. Yeah, that was it. That was the end of that one. See, Aiden, that was a short one. That shouldn't take you too long to edit it. Okay, thank you so much for watching another episode of Johanna Banana. Let's see. We are going to Georgia, Ian and I, to celebrate our birthdays.
Yep.
We are trying to mix it up because we're about to celebrate our birthdays without my dad for the first time. Sucks. God, the first year just sucks. So I'm trying to mix things up, get new traditions for us, and so every year I think we're going to travel, Aiden, for our birthdays. And we're going to go visit one of my surrogate mothers that I love dearly and was my stepmother's best friend, well, both my parents' best friends. And so we're going to go see them, and we're going to film out there. We're going to film out there, and so we're going to film out there, but the next episode, as far as number 19, part 2, is going to be when we come back. So we're going to leave, our flight leaves on May 9th, the day after Mother's Day. So, and we're going to do a little segment about my surrogate mother and how my dad was a single parent for 9 years when it was really hard to be a single parent. There wasn't the family bathrooms and things like that. It was really hard. So we're going to talk about that. And I think it's just fitting to talk about my dad being a single parent when we're in Georgia, because church really rallied around my dad. And one of the reasons why I'm so outgoing and so comfortable with people and I treat everybody like my best friend is because growing up in the church, I had many people take care of me. I baked a lot of cookies, made a lot of chocolate pudding with a lot of parishioners, and they took care of me when I was little. And so, because my dad was a single dad. So, we're going to talk about that. And we'll talk about that. And then we come back, we will finish up Mr. A-Teamer, part 2, and how that ended over the A-Team. The old A-Team show. I mean, we're not even talking about the new one. We're going to talk about, the old one, with all the, what was it? Mr. T? Yeah, Mr. T? Yes, Mr. T with all those chains? Yes. That was the beginning. That was how we ended it. That was just the last straw. I couldn't take it anymore after the 18. I'm like, I'm done. So we will talk about that. I also want to do some shout outs. I got a phone call while I'm shooting this episode, as you know, and that was one of our biggest fans. Okay, so I'm going to give a shout out to her. Big shout out to my girl Nikki. She is one of our biggest fans, and I'm sure she was calling me to say, got the new episode yet? I'm working on it, girl. I love her. She watches our episode. She's the only person I think that binge watches our episodes, Aiden. She does. She watches it on her TV, and she just watches it and watches it. So I thought, since she binge watches our shows and she's always itching for the next episode, let's do a shout out to our biggest fan, Nikki. And I sing a song to her that she doesn't get because she's older than I am. But for people that know my generation, this is Nikki's song that I sing to her. Okay. And Aiden knows it. Nikki, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. Okay. You know the song, right? Okay. Anyways, I sing that to her. We also, what's another song that we always sing? Hey, Nikki, you're so fine. You're so fine. I used to sing that to her. Lotto Girl and I, when we used to work with Nikki back where we met at KP. Oh, another shout out. Another shout out. We got to do another shout out to KP. KP is going to be watching our babies. Yes, our babies. All of our lizards. And Ruby, KP is going to be watching you. Yes, Ruby's asleep over there. But KP is not allowing me to pay her. She's that much of a friend. So we have decided, Ada and I have come up with a great surprise for you, Miss KP.
Yes.
A great surprise to thank you for coming to take care of my precious babies, my lizard babies, my scale babies. You have your fur babies, but I have scale babies. And so KP is going to be watching my scale babies while we're going to be gone. And thank you so much for that. So thank you for watching episode 19 of Johanna Banana. And we will see you. Our next filming, we're going to be in Georgia. We'll see you in Georgia.
Yep.